said he gon' kill me. I don't give a fuck, I was gonna die anyway.
Yo, what up? It's Ahmadjay and I'm back on some Warzone. So, I'm doing this video on my settings and what I use or whatever. Basic preferences. I'm doing this video for probably somebody on TikTok who requested it. If you're not following my TikTok, follow that. Alright, getting into the video. Alright, so settings 1. Like what I basically use on here on the button layout is tactical flip. I use tactical flip because R1 and L1 is like probably like the perfect buttons to shoot with. R2 and R3, I mean R2 and L2 is probably like weird to shoot with only for me. That's my preferences. But like if you just don't want to do that and just use tactical flip, just do this basically. You just press square. Literally all you gotta do. And onto the stick settings, I don't use anything, just default. In vertical look, I don't use anything, that's disabled. And the dead zone. The dead zone is like strictly on your preferences. You're gonna have to like kind of like figure that out and like move your controller around a bit more and just like kind of play. Go into like a little private match, I recommend, and just like see if it's the best for you. If you increase this, it's gonna fuck up your your aim basically. I keep this at a 5.5 because like I don't have any stick shift right now. I just got a new controller, but I don't have any dead zone or nothing, so I don't use basically up or down. I used to kind of like tweak my settings a bit. I stopped messing with them because like they kept messing up my aim. At the end of the day, I didn't want to like keep going up or down, fluctuating between stuff. I was just kind of figuring stuff out. But basically, keep it at default if you have no dead zone. If you had dead zone, keep this up or just go do it and do what you want. You gotta like figure that out. I can't really like have a say on that. Okay, the stick max input dead zone, I don't like mess with that. Just keep it at 0.99. You don't want to mess with it either. That's what just default is. And the insane thing, horizontal stick sensitivity, this is all I'll do to preferences. For me, of how I like kind of like warm up coming into Warzone, I turn this all the way down to like 16. When it gets like kind of like too slow for me, I turn this all the way back up to 2020 insane. The reason why I play on 2020 is I basically just could turn around. Like on console, you kind of like need everything you can get. I used to play like at a low settings, probably like around 13 or 10, but I couldn't take it anymore. I felt slow when I run around. I got used to this sensitivity probably like over the whole month. Even with this new scuff controller, I got used to it. But it's all on preferences. You're gonna have to go into a private match. You're gonna have to test everything out. All right, moving on to the multiplier. I got this kind of disabled, and I put it on sensitivity prism. I recently kind of changed this. I used to be like at 60, but I went up to 70 because I felt that it was too slow. And this is supposed to be up to 70 right now. So I put that at a 70, all due to preferences. You gotta have to test this out. But if you want to copy these settings, you can. And high zoom. So when I'm playing with a sniper, like since I rocked it like 2020 sensitivity, it felt kind of too fast, and I felt like the sweet spot around 80. I kept like going in game and changing it while I was playing with my friends, and it felt pretty well when I was hitting my shots. And moving on to aim response curve. For this, I never really played on standard. I played on standard for probably like 10 games and it kind of felt weird. But linear, never really tried it, don't want to try it. I don't want to ruin my settings. And dynamic is probably like one of the perfect ones. Every pro player uses it. and the S curve around this, I don't know, it just feels like pretty good. Like kind of like better than the other ones. If you have it as standard, just you have to like change it to dynamic. You're gonna see what I mean when you're playing the game. Controller vibration, that's always disabled in every COD for me. Aim assist, keep this at a standard. I don't basically kind of like, I mean, these settings on here, when you read it, strong aim slow down, strong aim slow down, again, like I don't literally just pay attention to that. I don't use these settings or do anything. I heard like a rumor once, probably like a year ago. Probably focusing is probably like one of the best ones for sniping. So they say just keep it as standard. Just don't even change it. Standard in every COD is probably gonna help you. The weapon mount, ADS plus. That's probably like all default right here. I don't touch any of this. And moving on to Contextual Tap. Contextual Tap is like one thing you should just always be using in Warzone. You're gonna have to get used to like different gameplays for this. But if you're still using tap to reload, you're kind of missing out. If you're walking around and you're getting chased by somebody, you tap to pick up something, it really helps. So like if you still rocking that, don't even do it. So contextual tap kind of really helps. You're gonna have to like tap the reload and then hold the button. I used to hold the well, I used to hold the reload, but like since contextual tap came out, it is pretty good. That's like the most best thing that they came out with. I think they didn't have like I think they didn't even have that when it came out. But moving on to this, depleted ammo enabled, and you always kind of like want to keep the armor plate at apply one. You're gonna see what I mean when you're like in a fight and your back is like literally pushed against the wall and your teammates are dead, and you're gonna have to like run away. So you're gonna apply one, apply one. If you have this apply all on, you're gonna have to like run away, and you're not gonna get out of like tight spots. Like when you're like reloading the plate and you're trying to get out a window, you're kind of screwed. And there's kind of like no way to like really cancel it unless you're like kind of like pressing triangle twice. But you don't want to go through all of that. Just put apply one on. The slide behavior, I don't know where you've been, probably living under a rock right now. Nobody uses hold. You're always going to use tap. You're gonna, you're gonna probably like see that when people are slide canceling. That's how people slide cancel way easy if you use tap. Move auto forward, always disable that. And if you want that on, try it out. But for me, I disabled it. Tactical sprint, always have like double tap in every COD. I don't mess with anything. The sprint, I don't have that on. You can try auto sprint. I heard a whole bunch of people kind of uses that. And vehicle recentering enabled. Parachute auto deploy. You want to disable that. You want to like land as fast as you can when you get to the map. You don't want like your parachute automatically deploying and somebody shooting you out of the sky. I rather like face plant in the ground if I'm like AFK instead of getting somebody the satisfaction of a kill. You know what I mean? Alright, moving on to the graphic settings. Not really much on console. Safe area, that's your preferences of your monitor or TV that you got. Camera movement, you always want to keep it down to like 50%. You don't want anything going wrong. The motion blur, you always want to have these disabled in every COD. If you play multiplayer, disabled. Film grain, that looks so terrible. Disabled. You know it's going to look terrible. Disable that. Dismemberment and gore effects, that's on preferences. If you want to have that, if you have like some type of new gun that you bought from the store, that's gonna be like what that means. Dismemberment effects. And brightness. Thing about brightness, you always wanna turn this down to a 40. If you keep that up, it just looks all weird and make the map look all grainy and weird. Yeah, that's what it is. On-demand texture streaming. The thing was before, if you had a PS5, you'll like kind of always want to have that it disabled. But recently, my homie told me to turn this on since like it started loading in the game, kind of like the textures on the game kind of pretty fast. So that's why I turned it back on. You can try that if you want to. The subtitles, I leave that disabled. There's no point of just having like some words coming down up on the screen, just distracting. English, yeah, English settings basically. Everybody's American on here. Uh, the color blind. I recently got some, I guess, some tutorials probably on this. I don't know how to say this word. I don't want to butcher it, but it's the one with the D. Pause. All right, yeah, it's the one with the D. It makes the game look way better, honestly. And you want to keep the colorblind target at interface. And the tulips, you want to enable that. The square minimap. Again, I don't know if you like been under a rock. If you still have like a circle map, you're at such a disadvantage. Cut the map on, you're able to see more of the area. If somebody's shooting, you're gonna see them from far. And the minimap rotation, when you're turning, the map turns with you. You don't just like leave it and it's just sitting there. The compass is like all on preferences. If you want to have that on, you can have it disabled. Doesn't really make a difference, but like compass, you always want to leave this on because when you're shooting at somebody and somebody else is shooting, and then you look around, it has this little red thing up top, and it tells you where it is. Your mini map tells you where that is too, but like you can like look towards the compass, I guess. And letters, preferences, I just leave this all default. I'll leave literally all of this default. You can copy these settings if you want to. Kill feed duration, yeah, all by preferences. I don't even like worry about this. And if you're having like problems with your system or whatever, you can enable this. It'll just tell you like the latency error, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's there if you want to copy it. The audio mix, I leave this on boost high. I'm able to like to hear different things. Like that one update that they did kind of like fucking ruined everything of my settings. So I leave this on boost high now. From back in the day, the audio used to be perfect until they fucked it up. I mean, this audio is alright, and the audio settings I got is like pretty good. I use that. In master settings, you want to keep it like probably at 80. Feels good. Music volume settings, you want to keep that at 0. Dialogue volume 50. Yeah, effects 100, 100, 100. And MW, this kind of feels good to me. All of these are just basically default. Okay, I think that's pretty much it of what I had to do. Those are my Warzone settings. But alright, thanks for watching the video. This has been Ahmadjay. Follow all my socials and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me in the future. Thank you very much.
Nigga.
That's all, folks.